Good morning. It's day. A lot of people call Mother's Day. I don't really get into the holidays. If you study the roots of most of these days, it's not what you think it is, but we honor our mother. I have my mother still around. My father's gone. I love my mother. I gave her a gift yesterday. I wish I could do something for her every day of her life, because she is precious. But I wanted to make this video, and it's based on one I made earlier, yesterday, on innocence. And, I talked about a recap how Adam and Eve, they were innocent. They lost their innocence. They became guilty of transgression against God's law, but they were innocent. Now, innocence can be mixed with being gullible or slow-minded, or there's a lot of cases we just don't have the knowledge or wisdom. Wisdom a lot of times comes from, experience of life. Our life experience, we gain wisdom. I call it hard knocks. You can have a knowledge. Young people can have a lot of knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge to do things as far as computers, versus the generation before. You have a lot of book knowledge of how to do things, but a lot of times you gain wisdom through experience. It's like being married. It'd be hard for a person that's never been married to tell me about marriage. You never been there. You don't know. So, it's two different things. Both of them are good. And God, he give both things to people if they seek it. They ask him. He said, if any man lack wisdom or knowledge, ask me. I'll give it to you. Spiritual wisdom and knowledge. But my main line was innocence. And this is like part 2. And I'll use myself, as an example. I was younger and I'm older. And I learned a lot of things for being stubborn and hard-headed, prideful. And a big ego will cause you to lose your innocence quick. There's nothing wrong with being innocent. But when you're gullible and you're dumb and you think you know it all, that's when you're in the danger zone. And I was remembering, God brought back to my remembrance, when I worked at a hospital, this lady's granddaughter going to a party at a hotel. We used to do it all the time. I thought it was fun. With a friend. I guess one of her best friend took her to a hotel, some boys, and I don't think she ever drunk alcohol or anything. But basically what the friend did was, the friend set her up to be raped. Yeah, your friend would do that. That's a lot of times I say you think you have friends, but you really don't have real friends. So what they did was spike the girl's alcohol, and a bunch of boys ended up raping her. I think the girl was a virgin. Raped her over and over again. And in the end, taking her somewhere and sticking something up inside of her and leaving her for dead. Imagine that. Imagine that. But you innocent. But you curious. You innocent and curious. And you trusting somebody you've been hanging out with, not knowing at the same time that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Maybe the lady gained money out of it. Or maybe she was jealous of her. Envious of her. For whatever reason, that happened. And a lot of our traumas come when we're young. We're innocent. You don't know much. Like with me, man, the whole world was, it's mine. I couldn't wait to get out the house. I wanted to go to Korea, but I ended up going to Germany when I was younger. I traveled. I went to lived in Georgia twice. At the state capitol, I was in Columbia. I was all over the place. I love to get in my car and just go and do things. experience things. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to have standards. You got to have perimeters. You got to have guides. God say in his word, protect your heart. Protect your heart. You protect your heart, your spirit, man, your soul. Because it's things to get you. I lost a daughter a couple of years ago. Not saying she was totally innocent, but you don't know when death around the corner. She got murdered. She didn't know going out that day. You know, she took real good care of her daughter. I miss my older daughter. You know, she didn't know what was crouching to take her out later on that night. You know what I mean? You don't have to be, you can be in your home and somebody can come in your house and rob and kill you, but you're more likely to die or something happen to you if you're out doing things you shouldn't be doing. I mean, it's plain and simple. I look at a lot of these drill rappers up in, I think, Chicago. You got drill rappers in New York now. You got them in, they probably already been there. You got them in a lot of big cities. You got them out like in St. Louis. You know, they just, the way they rap, they live in a certain lifestyle. A lot of those people, they know what they're doing. You know, they live in that life. You know, a lot of them be about that life. I used to be about that life to a certain degree, but I found out that's not me. I'll be the simp. I go to work. I take care of my family. Everything ain't meant for everybody. Everybody ain't built for this thing. Now, I remember another testimony. I was on drugs real bad, and I wanted to get clean. So, you know, I mean, I'm just using myself for example. I got a couple things, but I went to a place in Columbia, the VA hospital, trying to get cleaned up. And I met a guy, you know, I think about it now, when he was younger, he ended up having HIV. You know, I was kind of scared about that, you know, but you can't be paranoid when it comes to people. God loves everybody. You know, it's like any other disease. But one time it was fatal, but it's not fatal. It got medicine now. But he ended up getting HIV because he said he became a sodomite, a homosexual. But what happened to him when he was younger, his own family members molested him. That's where a lot of our traumas come from when we're younger. A lot of people get molested. I done had older boys when I was a little kid try to molest me. Thank God it didn't happen. I seen people get molested. Things happen to people when they're young. Even when I was living in the country, older cousin, I'm a little boy, you know, trying to have sex. I think I ran. You know, a lot of things you can't remember, but I remember that. I was traumatized, you know. And this guy ended up getting on drugs. You know, a lot of times people get on drinking and drugs to cover up the pain. This guy was in pain. I didn't really understand, but he really needed deep counseling and to be set free. He really needed spiritual deliverance because he had a lot of unclean spirits inside of him. And same with me, I had a lot. I opened the door. We opened the door for unclean spirits. You know, being innocent, gullible. You have to have knowledge and wisdom today. You can't. Things are so dangerous now. I done heard many stories, people first sex experience, them contracting HIV. I remember a girlfriend, and I loved her dearly back then in late 80s. I thought she had cheated on me, so I broke it off. But she told me she was messing with a guy that was a drug dealer. You know, a lot of people, they get caught up with the money and the flashiness. And the guy had sex with her for 6 months, but decided, hey, I don't want to use protection no more with you. I want to go raw. Knowing he had genital herpes, and he gave it to her and ruined her life on purpose. There's a lot of people out here are evil. That's wicked. That's demonic. That's another example. I remember I was in Germany, and it's hard You know, back then, there's a lot of things I tried to hide, but I tried to be transparent. But I wasn't much of a drinker. And beer and liquor wasn't my thing. Cocaine became my friend at one time. But I called myself drinking, playing cards. That's what we would do in the barracks, go to the club all the time. But, you trust people. A lot of times you get drunk, you just sleep where you at, on the floor, and you in somebody's room playing cards, watching TV. But one night, and I guess this is an older guy. This guy was a staff sergeant at the time, if I remember correctly. He called himself thinking I'm drunk, I'm a light sleeper, that he gonna molest me, rape me. It didn't happen. But it kind of, made me very homophobic, not trusting people. Been around this guy for all the months, and you try this. But that's what he would do with the new soldiers. That's what a lot of times the people in the world will do. They'll befriend you, treat you good, spend money on you, cook, clean, or whatever. Whatever they need to do to get close to you, then they will try you. And we lose our innocence like that. That's a lot of women been raped. It's a lot of men that's been raped. They cover it up. You see people going crazy at doing things that they normally wouldn't do. A lot of time it comes from trauma, or the parents getting divorced, or a lot of people get abandoned. Because of innocent. This calls you innocent. It's not an excuse. You have to gain wisdom. If you got an older person telling you, hey, don't go this way, don't go left, go right. Take a few moments just to listen to what they're saying. Because 9 times out of 10, that person not telling you to kill your joy or your happiness. They already been down that road, Like I told my kids, like I said, I lost one. All I'm doing is telling you how to love. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, because you grown now. You got to make your own choice. Don't have the kids out of wedlock. Been through that. Child support system. It's hell. You get drugged through the support system. Hey, they had STDs. Thank God nothing permanent. Hey, was told, hey, use protection. Hey, don't listen. You go to the doctor's office, health department, and hope. Hey, and hope you ain't got something you can't get rid of. Unwanted pregnancies, not going to work, just not going to stand in college. I remember in high school, cutting school, walking through some apartments with somebody, girl had some acid. Let me try this. Thank God it didn't affect me. But it's just like just being nonchalant, just trying things. Like you're a candy store. You just, people go to a weed place. They got all these different edibles and different weed. I'm just gonna try this, or mushroom. Don't do it. You got to learn to be prayerful. Read a word. Do affirmations. Listen to your parents or the people around you. Look at the people that's on the street. You know what I mean? They got hit. Most of these people that you see walking around on drugs, alcohol, they was just like you. Something opened them up to that. Satan got a foothold into their lives, and they're trapped. They're in bondage. I'm telling you, a lot of your traumas come when you're young. So I hope this helps somebody. This cause you young, a lot of things you don't know. You got to gain it for yourself. If you go to a party, hey, if you go to a party like I used to go to a lot of parties, hey, you just reach in there and get a beer, or a bottle of liquor is open, you pour up. Don't do it. You can't do it now. Don't do it. Get your own. If you're a drinker, or you smoke, or do drugs. If you got to do pills, you better get your own pill. But hopefully you can get away from that, because that opens you up. Drugs and alcohol, and That's why they call them spirits. If you go to a liquor store and say spirit, it's opening you up to big demons. And that's going to open you up to other things. That's what happened to me. I started doing one thing, then it led to this thing. Next thing you know, I went from college, working military, to on the streets. I went to going to clubs, strip clubs, to on the streets, homeless, strung out, smoking cigarettes, running my cheek. I had so many bondages and demons in me. All the thing I could do was run to the church. But I even had the spirit of depression and suicide. God met me at my mother's house back in 1992, if I remember correctly, thinking about suicide. Happy-go-lucky person, never even crossed my mind. Even though, you have different things you grow up with. I used to be sad a lot. I think about that. Lonely a lot. But nothing like that. So one thing leads to another. This is an old head talk. I love each and every one of you. And if you haven't accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, give God a try. God is your creator. He know you in and out. Our lives can have different paradigms. We can go down one road, God can see it. We go down another road, God can see. He can see a road to heaven or a road to hell. Just because you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior don't mean your life is going to be some type of religious, mundane, boring life. Actually, it's 100 times better. You ain't got to worry about the police. You worry about getting stopped all the time. You pay your taxes. You go to work, take care of your family. You have good meals. You're going to have bad days, good days. But it's 100 times better with God, because God is there for you to help protect you, guide you, lead you. If you look at a lot of characters in the Bible, as soon as they strayed off the road with God, even the first man, look, God would visit these people at the cool of the day. He would come and communicate with them. They broke the fellowship, found out they were naked, doing something they didn't have no business, but they were innocent. Being innocent don't mean righteous or holy. It just means, hey, you don't know no better. You ain't polluted. But then 50 years later or 40 years later, you become polluted. That's like a trash can. You can buy a brand new trash can. I'm just using that for example. It's clean when you get it. It's made from plastic factory. If you've been in a factory, it's clean. You can eat out of it. You can drink out of it. But after so long, you keep putting trash in it. It got bacteria, filthiness, nastiness, all kind of stuff because of all the trash that go in it. All the spirits. Just like our bodies, we the same way when we were a baby. Not saying babies can't have unclean spirits. A lot of times they do because of the mother. The mother doing whatever she doing, the father, and it transfers into the baby. But most times the babies are innocent. They don't have disease. They're clean. But, over time you pick up different things. Your parents tell you not to do this. You do that. You do this. You do that. For long, you done picked up all these bad habits. It ain't just things that's natural, but they're spiritual that get inside of you. Then a lot of times you see people, if you go to a real deliverance ministry, all these different spirits in them they need to be delivered from. Depression, strife, sadness, suicide, spirits killing their finances, people that had a lot of abortions, spirit of death hanging around. We pick up these different things. Just like, we used to have a lot of things, used to run around and field. Hey, a lot of times you get out the field, they used to call these things cocoa buds. Where these things come from? Is other little things stick to you. Just like, parasites get in your body. You can get tapeworm, flukes, eating a lot of sugar and stuff. You just pick up a lot of things, but you can be cleaned out. You can gain your innocence back to a certain degree. I heard people say, hey, I'm a reborn virgin. Maybe that's true. you know. But hopefully this helped somebody. And it's dangerous out here if you're innocent. You know, certain things you haven't done, and you got somebody trying to compare you. A lot of times it'd be somebody trying to compare you, or something speaking to you, like the Holy Spirit. Listen to your small, still voice. But that big voice, hey, go to this concert, or go to this club, or do this, get high, or sleep with this person. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do what's right. I love each and every one of you. Have a blessed day.